Hello, this is Steve from Beaute's Leatherworks. Today's project is this cool looking Gucci tote. We're going to replace the top binding, the bottom corners, new lining inside. We're going to keep this pocket lining because it's got the Gucci print on there. The handles basically are falling apart. It's very common for these bags for the handles to go bad like that, right in the middle especially, because these are made with cotton threads, and over time of it rubbing on your shoulder, the threads break and the paper inside falls apart. And general just cleaning, moisturizing the leather trim, and we'll be ready to go. All right, let's get started. This was close to a $900 job. All right, here goes nothing. We're going to be picking a lot of stitches on this job. Like the straps, for example, all the stitches got to come loose. Once you're cutting the stitch, you got to clean it. All the thread that you're cutting. And then you got to re-stitch everything back together. So see something like this, for example, see how that is torn right there? So what we're going to do is once we're ready to stitch this back on, we're going to reinforce that area underneath, and then we're going to stitch a little bit further up, maybe about 1/4 of an inch to hide that tear. This way you're not going to be able. Oh, my knife is falling apart. What's up with that? Can't have that. This was a gift from one of my viewers. It's called a ripper. How appropriate. Where is it? Get it? The ripper? Like I'm ripping into the bag? Oh my God, that's funny. See all these stitches right here? All of these stitches got to come apart. All these little threads, all of those got to be cleaned up. All right, let's continue. This is what we're going to replace. We want something structurally sound in between these two leathers for the shoulder straps. This isn't going to do. This is just a filler that they put on there. Which is not good at all. It's common though, very common. Once we shave that bottom of the threads, it's just basically breaking the threads a little bit more to be able to remove it from the top. This is a crepe piece, crepe rubber. We call this plantation crepe, and the friction of doing this usually removes the threads and doesn't damage anything on the leather itself. Now somebody sent me this lily brush, but unfortunately this is so soft. Where is it? It's so soft that when I run this across it, it's not picking that up very, very good. I still use it, but not on this type. This way all the thread needs to be cleaned up before you stitch it. A lot of people make a mistake of taking something apart and restitching it, but they leave the old thread in there, and it looks very messy, because once they finish stitching it, the old thread is kind of sticking up, and not very neat job. So that's why we go through the trouble of taking all the threads out and restitching everything back together. All right, let's continue. No, it's not going on the floor. I got a trash can. Y'all complain about me throwing stuff on the floor. We clean the shop all the time. All right, these are our 4 straps you got here. Nice and clean and no threads on them. Basically what we're going to do, we're going to put a thin piece of nylon strip, glue them back together, and then we can stitch them and get them ready when it's ready to be put on the bag. All right, let's continue. Voila. One down, one to go. Now that we've got it all apart, might not be a bad idea to try to clean the surface of this. And what I'm using here is a, basically, it's called Lincoln Easy Cleaner. That's what it's called, Lincoln Easy Cleaner. I use it on suedes, nylons, leathers. I mix it with 50-50 with water, dilute it a little bit. It's not very harsh. If I can get the hold of that brush. If it had some stains on there, I would try to use maybe a little bit of harsher chemical, like thinner or turpentine, acetone. May not notice it too much cleanup, but it does clean up pretty good. You don't want something too harsh where it's going to damage that pattern. Remember, it's just like a dye on canvas, so you don't want to ruin the G pattern. Okay, let's continue. All right, so whenever we have new leather being replaced, let's try again. All right, so whenever we have new leather being replaced the old leather, obviously they're going to be different, okay? Now at this stage here, what we would do, we would tint this color to darken it to form this color. I've got to replace the bottom corners, okay, the top pieces of the strap of the side gusset, okay, the top binding. So what's left? We have this piece, the main body would be left, and the handles. I'm like, well, since we've got it all apart, we have the leather, why don't we just replace all the leather? And this way everything matches, everything's brand new, new lining. The only thing we're gonna salvage obviously is that. And I think that'll be a lot better, you know. So all the time I put into cleaning the straps was a waste. But it's okay. I think once it gets done, it's gonna look phenomenal. It'll be like a new bag almost. All right, let's continue. All right, most of the stitch work I do, I make sure that before I stitch anything, I check the stitch density, make sure it's the same size. The whatchamacallit, the thread tension, make sure that's good. You don't want to have any issues while you're stitching the new piece. Now this is my one of my newest machines. This is a beast, okay? This is the SoPro. It's all electronic. Now I'm still getting used to all these gadgets. Let me tell you, it's definitely a learning curve from what I'm used to learning how to stitch on this one. It's pretty cool though. Just gotta, you know, just gotta learn how to do things on it. Well, I think that looks pretty good. And now we can go ahead and start stitching. Now the tripod is dangling off my chest, so bear with me. Cool. All right, that's enough of that. I don't want to take a chance on screwing the stitching up because I've got the tripod on my chest, so enough of the close-up. Not too bad, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right, let's continue. Very sticky. So this is basically a nylon ribbon. If you go to your fabric store, you can find them. I use it to reinforce, you know, adding reinforcement to the strap. It's not too heavy, but it gives it a nice, nice structural balance. Now we've got two parts to the strap, front and back. The way I do it is I cut my leathers a little bit wide, glue them together, and cut them together. That way it's nice and even. Stitch it and then put the edge dressing on there. You can cut them and then, you know, cut them exact same shape, which is about 1 inch wide or 3/4 of an inch wide, and then glue them together. But you're always going to have uneven edges. I've done that too before. Then I go and sand the edges to make them a little smoother. This way, when they're glued together, you can cut them together. You got a nice sharp edge. All right, let's continue. All right, we're getting there. Let's see how many people I'm going to trigger today with this video. People like get triggered so easily lately, man. It's quite funny. Life's too short. Lighten up. Jeez, man. All right, there she goes. Mini hammer time. This is old as dirt. Now, see this wire right here? Goes through the handle, comes up through the head, and bends down. It secures the head to the hammer. Now, I know that's not the proper way to do it, but the wood has kind of lost this, you know, structure there, so for it to hold between these two pieces. And also this leather was applied down the road somewhere. I don't know why, because I really don't think it does anything. Just makes it interesting looking, I guess. Now, this was not my father's hammer. I have his hammer. There's another one somewhere around here, which is very similar to this. And then I have a third one where the head is broken here, because he used it so much that it's broken. Now, it was soldered one time and it wasn't done properly, and it came loose again. One of these days, I'll see if I can solder it the proper way. All right, let's continue. So once we stitch the straps on, we pull the thread to the back. Same with this one. You should have 4 of them. Now you're going to take these 2, and we're just going to tie them up. Okay, nice and tight. Do it one more time. Okay, and once you're here, you can take a little bit of glue and glue it down. That's not going anywhere. Look good. Also, you got that material back there. That's basically reinforcing the stressed out area. Let's continue. Okay, so stitching the other side, I noticed something. You guys see that? Looks like a skipped thread right in the corner. So I'm going to unstitch this right here. We'll start over at that point. Bring it back. Let's continue. You guys remember that was cracked earlier when I was taking it apart? Now that crack is underneath the leather that's reinforced with the back. So you don't see it anymore. Cool? Let's continue. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. We've got the bag assembled at the stage. Handles are done, side pieces are done. The side pocket is done. So we're going to turn the bag inside out, put the lining through, put the top binding, and this is finished. So now I'm going to take this lining apart and make a new one and assemble it. Remember, we're going to salvage this inner pocket lining. It does have a hole on the side, but that's not a big deal. I'll close that up. That way when it gets done, she'll still have that G logo. And we'll put all those magnet pieces back. We'll put this label back with the serial number in the back. Everything will be legit. All right, let's continue. This is for the lining, zipper lining pocket zipper opening. This is a stiffener that we use to add body to the bags. Basically, we're going to measure 7 inches opening, draw the line from the top, 2 1/4 inches. And you're going to go ahead and cut the fabric, and at the ends you're going to put Y cut, shape of a Y. Okay, and simply you're going to fold this over on top of the stiffener. And there's a nice clean opening from the other side. Where the zipper will come in, it'll fit, it'll sit in there nice and clean looking. Just like that. Let's continue. Now with this tag here, what we're going to do, it's in 2 pieces. We're going to save the back and we're going to put a new piece in the front, okay? Well, and once we join them together, you'll never know it was replaced. All right, let's continue. Ba-dow! Same lining she had. And we still have her numbers. Cool! All right, some of you guys asking me how to get hold of me. You go to my main page, About. All the information's right there. And if you want some merchandise, go to the store, and all the information's right there. Welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Another project done. Now, I'm so glad that I chose to replace all the leather rather than partial. Now, I don't know what I was thinking when I took it in, that I would just replace the certain areas that needed it. But the more I thought about it, and it's like, why not replace everything? Because you want everything to match. Even though with, you know, newer leather to 40-year-old leather, try to your best to kind of match as close as possible, it's not going to be 100%. This way, the color is a bit lighter than original, but you know, it's very close. I think we got very lucky with that. We got new lining there. The binding got done. Top binding got done. New lining there. The magnet closures. The Gucci tab. Now, customer requested that we would salvage. Did I close it? I think I just closed it. Salvage that lining right there. And we did. We salvaged it. It was pretty good shape. Side piece there, bottom corners. I mean, overall, it's almost like a new bag now, you know. Hopefully she'll get another 40 years out of it. And I'm pretty happy with it. Not too bad. Not too shabby. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it once again. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, give me an email, betos@yahoo.com. Now, I've got tons of emails I've got to get to. I haven't forgotten about you. It's just taking me a little bit longer to get to them, and I will. You're welcome to call me if you have an urgent question. I just showed you guys the shop information, the phone number's there. Give me a call. I'm always here every day. Well, Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 7 to 1. So you can call on those days. I'll pick up the phone most likely. All right, thank you again. I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys again on the next project. Take care.